Yay! Okay. All right. By a raise of hands, do you feel like that networking piece was beneficial to your business?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So, with that being said, I would like to go ahead and continue on to the second portion of the event today, which is the speaker part. So we're gonna have 4 guest speakers here today. A couple of them are sitting amongst the audience and in the back. I'm honored to introduce to you our first speaker. She's a woman warrior with the heart of gold. She brings with her a master's in psychology. She's a therapist who focuses most of her practice on transformational healing. She teaches at the college level and also works one-on-one with private clients. She will also be hosting an event soon, which she will explain more about. Ladies, let's give a big, warm welcome to Tori Helf.
Well, welcome everyone. I know we told you to go take a break and get yourself situated, but how was the networking? Did you guys love it?
Yes.
That's one of the best questions to ask people is, what do you need in your business, right? Because we all need something, but we need to connect with other people who have it. So I'm glad I'm actually not going on at lunchtime because I was worried about you guys being a little hangry. So keep your carb load up. We're going to talk about a lot of transformation, but first I want to tell you who I am and why the heck you should listen to me at all, right? Because I don't know about you, but that's usually what I think. So my name is Tori Helf. I am the Transformation Babe on Instagram. That is my new brand and my new handle. And I do have 3 degrees in psychology. I used to teach at UCI for a couple years. I am absolutely obsessed with high performance and mindset. How many of you have heard that word? Right? Mindset. How many of you actually know what it means? 1. Yeah. It's a word that gets thrown around a lot and people don't exactly know what it means. So our mindset is basically the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that you have inside of you that create our actions and reactions. So much of what we have in our mindset is not conscious to us. Did any of you take Psych 101?
Yeah.
Do you remember the iceberg? Okay, so I feel like I want to have like a big whiteboard so I can teach you. So mindset is so much about, we are only conscious or aware of 10% of our brain. The rest is 90%. This is a good thing. Why? Because it pumps your blood, it beats your heart, it lets you drive to work without knowing how the heck you got there. How many of you had that happen to you? Yeah. Right? So the sad thing is that autopilot that takes over when we're on the road going to work is the same thing that takes over when we are in our business. All of our old stuff comes up. How many of you felt like starting your business was your biggest personal development hurdle in life yet? How many of you have had procrastination and doubt and amazing ideas that you did not implement? How many of you see someone else put it out in the world and they go, damn it? Yes, so this is why I love to talk mindset, because mindset is truly the psychology of success. And without your psychology, I don't care what strategy you have, you will not be as successful as you could be if you had the internal game of wealth and success. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, is what is your internal game and how can we raise it up one level, right? But first I want to tell you a little bit about how I got here, because it sounds good, right? You're like, oh, she's educated, like all this stuff. But it has not been a pretty path, and I have walked through fire to stand in front of you today. So I think that gives me an extra qualification aside from all of the things that I have done in my professional life. So we'll go back, we'll take you back. So in about 2010, I was a successful corporate person. I was an HR manager for a large company. I was the youngest human resources manager my company had ever had. So they actually got me a coach. Ironically, now I'm the coach. But at 30 years old, I recognized that I loved helping people. I loved coaching all these managers. I had 438 managers that I was responsible for. So it was a big job and I learned a lot. But something was really missing in my life. I had the car, I had the house, I had the husband, I had the job, I had the degrees, I'd done everything the society said I should do to feel happy. I was successful, I did it. I made 6 figures at 30. Not many people do that. But I was not happy. And so that sent me on a journey inward because I'd already done everything externally, right? There was nothing left but to figure me out. So, yeah, that's the hardest part, right? That's usually where we look last. There's a great Native American proverb where they talk about that there's a secret that they want to hide from the humans. The great creator and all the animals come to the lake and they say, we have something very special, we need to hide it from the humans, because if they found it out, if they knew, then all problems would be solved. And so each animal came forward and gave their idea of where we're going to hide it from the humans. So great, the mama bear comes forward and says, give it to me, I will take it to the highest caves and the highest mountains and I will hide it from the humans. Great creator says, well, one day, believe it or not, the humans are going to hike every mountain, they're going to go into every cave and they're going to find it. So salmon comes forward and he says, I will swim it to the deepest depths of the ocean and they will never find it. And great creator says, believe it or not, they will go to the depths of the ocean and they will find it. So eagle says, let me take it to the highest trees. And he said, unfortunately, the humans are going to cut down many of the trees and they will find it. So wise owl steps forward and says, place it in their heart where they'll never think to look. And so that's what happens to most of us, right? We're on this journey outside of ourselves, creating businesses, creating careers, looking for those external things when we have to turn to our inside at some point. And most of us have something that triggers that, right? So it can be unhappiness, a death in the family, a divorce, you know, a disease, a disempowering moment where you got broken up with or you lost a job. And it forces you to look inside and say, what makes me happy and what works. So that sent me on a journey to figure out who was I, what was I really here to do, and what did that mean? And that led me to, you know, grad school and figuring that I really love to help people. I was passionate about empowering women to create soulful success on their own terms. And for me, that was doing the inner work with them. So beyond all of that, like, I'm so excited that I got to do this work, that I've been coaching now since, professionally full time since January 1st of 2013. So I've dreamt, oh, thank you. So I've built my dreams on the external, right? Like I've found my purpose, and I don't know about any of you, but when it came to purpose, I was just waiting for like the purpose piano to hit me in the head. Yeah, it never came. Like I was like, please God, just tell me my purpose. Like let me download it. Let me download it. It never came. So as many of you know, you have to go on that journey to find the right business, to find the right thing for you. But underneath that, and even deeper for me, it was going into my past and remembering the little girl that grew up in a really tough circumstance. So as I stand before you today in $600 Louboutins, I want to remind you where I started. So my mother had just completed heroin rehab when she became pregnant with me. So by the grace of God, I was born okay, but unfortunately, her addiction never healed her whole life. My father was not in the picture, and we grew up without a lot of money. We were always on support. We were always on something. And being a mom who was single, who obviously, you know, she had a couple marriages, but things were hard. So when I stand here before you, and I'm going to tell you about the life I've created, I want you to know that it comes from incredibly humble beginnings that I've had to heal the hell out of, because it wasn't easy. I had to deal with the little girl who wanted to be successful to find happiness that she never had, that wanted to be successful because I had to take care of my mother and I wanted to have the money to do those types of things. So there's all of these amazing lessons that I learned, and I forgave my mother for everything that happened, and she ultimately became my greatest teacher. She taught me about forgiveness and letting go, and knowing that even in our mess, there's such a deep message. If I wouldn't have went through with her what we went through, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't stand up as the last living woman in my family. So both my mother and my sister overdosed, and I am the last woman alive. So no matter what has happened to you, your struggle looks very different than mine, I'm sure. But how many of you have had parents who've gotten divorced